So when you think of anyone in the level 1 through 3 piece, right away, we know we're focused more on the stimulation part. So we'll look at a video of someone in that stage, and then I'll just highlight some research for that in regards to what you do. And then if people have other components that they do for stimulation, but whether they're in no response level or generalized response, the responses for this one, for level 2, they're often the same regardless of the stimulus. So that just distinguishes you out from whether you're level 2 or more localized. And the reason I put some of these in bold blue, at least on my slide today, was to just highlight, like, what am I looking forward to document to help distinguish that we're progressing to another level. And we know that at any time, just like kind of our people who have an incomplete spinal cord injury and our people with stroke, you know, like at some point in time, they could just kind of not progress. But for the most part, not that they would go through these exactly, but these are very common levels that I think are helpful. The 4 through 6, level 4 through 6, what I mean by structure is that this is when we're confused consistently throughout, progressing from agitated to appropriate, but confused nonetheless. So really thinking about what setting you're in and thinking about how you can structure things to try and take away some confusion for them. And when they talk about demonstrating agitated behavior, they're talking about it originates more from internal confusion. And I just cannot even begin to imagine what that's like to wake up and then have that kind of damage and just not know what's going on and have different parts of your brain that damaged. But they say it's more from the internal confusion. So how can we provide structure in the external world to try to assist with that? So level 4 is that confused, agitated, which I think is very challenging, to then going to confused and inappropriate, but not agitated. So depending on what that inappropriate piece is, it can be hard. But what's good about this level is we're starting to get where if we do an action or task demonstrated to them, they can perform it. So then we know we can pull into some more of our demonstration. And then they're not demonstrating agitation to internal stimuli, like I said up here in level 4. However, if the external stimuli can still agitate them. So you might be thinking, and so I don't, be distinguishing between internal and external, but I can't tell you what their internal agitation is causing, how that's causing them. But from an external standpoint, I think it's easy to say, hey, they've been doing really well, but then chaos and brood outside of them. And that's when they started to show agitation again. So I think that distinction can help in regards to, yeah, it's not that they're never agitated. It's just that we want to set up the external environment to not force that on them. Where with level 4, no matter what you got going on out here, even if it's all calm and serene and everything's joyful, they can still be agitated. Maybe I said that better the second time. For level 6, we're in the confused appropriate. So they're able to follow simple commands, which is good. And they do that pretty consistently, but really unable to retain learning new tasks. So to me, this comes back to thinking about from the beginning, as early as possible, right? Is trying to learn more about the person. I mean, just like we would with everybody. So there's so many things that cross over, but trying to learn as much as you can about them, looking at pictures they have on the wall, whether you're integrating that early on in stimulation. I think of stimulation as like, here, record your voice, family member, and give them a couple of commands in your family member voice, because they're at level 2 and they seem to respond to you, but they're not responding to me. So can you say this for me? Can you say this for me? Can you say roll? I want you to roll over. Can you say, move here or something like that, so that you can try to start incorporating some of those pieces as well as the structure. So starting even early on of being consistent with what you go in, what you say, what you do, unless you find out that it's agitating them, which we'll talk about in a minute. Obviously, we're going to ditch that. But, being really trying to really have your flow to where you're always going in. There's no random practice here. It's not time for random practice. Wait till community integration. We're all about the blocked and we're all about consistent. And that means starting from the beginning, always coming in, saying the same thing, using the same tone of voice, having the same plan in regards to what you want to do, and finding out more about them in regards to what could distract them as you move into